students. I am Dr. Shikha Pandey, Assistant Professor from the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, the topic of the discussion for the lecture video is Biogeochemical cycle, Hydrological cycle, and Phosphorus cycle. So today in this lecture, we are going to discuss about all the cycle which is present in the ecosystem. In the previous lectures, we have studied about the energy flow, function of ecosystem, structure of ecosystem. Now comes to the chemical cycles which is present in the ecosystem. Chemical cycle like the hydrological cycle and sedimentary cycle and gaseous cycle that are present in the ecosystem, and it is operated by the biotic and abiotic components of the ecosystem. And so let's start this lecture with the biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle means bio, as the name suggests, that the bio means life. Bio means life, geo means earth, and chemical means some element like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. So what is biogeochemical cycle? It is the cycling of nutrients like water, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur from the abiotic components of the ecosystem. Abiotic components like those non-living components with the help of the biotic components. Biotic components are the living organisms on the ecosystem. So it is a cycling of nutrients like carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus in the atmosphere with the help of some biotic component and abiotic component. It is the combination of an energy flow. Ecosystems survive by the combination of energy flow from sun to earth and matter cycling. So ecosystem is a combination of energy flow from the sun to the earth, and the energy, the biotic components obtain energy from the sun, and then they will make cycling of this energy to the different trophic level. This is the main meaning of the biogeochemical cycle. It is a cycling process that starts from a abiotic factor to biotic factor of an ecosystem. And abiotic factors are the non-living, like with the help of sunlight, water, air, soil, with the help of sunlight, air, soil, and by the biotic components like plant, animal, fungi, bacteria, they are recycling these nutrients and the cycling of these nutrients into the atmosphere. This is called as the biogeochemical cycle. And earth is a closed system. Like earth is a closed system, earth do not have interference with the different atmosphere of the earth, so that earth is a closed system. They will do their own recycling of nutrients into the atmosphere, and without interfering by the other atmosphere. So this is earth. We can say that energy, as we have also studied about, the energy can be created and cannot be destroyed from the first law of thermodynamics, and the second law of the thermodynamics thermodynamics says that the energy can only be transferred from one form to another form, and the energy will always available in the earth system only. So that earth is a closed system. Whatever energy which is obtained from producer to consumer, then herbivores, then it is decomposed by the decomposer, and they will again provide this into the atmosphere, and they will again provide it for the producer, consumer. So the cycle is going on. It is a complete process, cycling process. From atmosphere to hydrosphere to lithosphere, then they will come again to the atmosphere with the help of some biotic and abiotic component of ecosystem. That is the main theme of biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle represents the cycling of nutrients into the atmosphere with the help of biotic and abiotic component. And the biogeochemical cycle is of two types. This picture represents the flow of energy inside the atmosphere, in the earth surface only, in the universe only. And this picture clearly shows that earth is a closed system. Like this, you can see that the yellow color that is present in the pictures, it represents the energy flow in the ecosystem. Like this, red color also represents the energy flow in the ecosystem, in the universe. So yellow color is the energy flow that indicates usable energy, and red color indicates the energy that is lost from the universe, by the producer, consumer. That heat or that energy they will use for their excretion, their respiration, and their locomotive properties. So the heat that is lost from the producer, consumer, decomposer to the atmosphere, and yellow dotted represents the energy recycling from the producer to consumer, producer to decomposer to again in the producer. And this is the sun. They are using energy from the sun, and they are using this energy for their functions, from producer to decomposer, from producer to consumer to decomposer, and then again the inorganic nutrient pool to again it will comes to the producer. This is the main theme of this picture. So from this picture you can understand about the biogeochemical cycle. That is those cycle which is connected with the bio is the living organism, and chemical is the chemical element, and cycle those cycle which is connected with the biological property, biotic components of the ecosystem is called as biogeochemical cycle. And these biotic component will help in the recycling of these nutrients into the earth's surface only. So in this picture you can show that the red, as we have already studied from the energy of pyramid, like the some of the about 90% of the energy is lost in the form of heat by every trophic level. At each trophic level 90% of energy is lost in the form of heat. Only 10% of energy will pass from one trophic level to another trophic level. So you can see in the picture red color, yellow, red indicates the usable energy lost in the unusable form of heat, and green represents the continual recycling of chemical nutrients. The dark green color represents the continuous recycling of nutrients, the recycling of chemical nutrients, that is the biogeochemical cycle. So you, from this picture it is clear that all are interconnected, and the biogeochemical cycle is nothing but it is a recycling of nutrients from one trophic level to another trophic level by the help of biotic and abiotic components of the ecosystem. And it can be for the whole universe, for the whole atmosphere, and so that earth is a closed system, like with the help of only producer to consumer to decomposer, without taking the help of other universe. So it all energy is within the earth atmosphere, so we can call it as a closed system. This is the main thing of the biogeochemical cycle. Energy will pass from one trophic level to another trophic level, and like this nutrients recycling process will also follow from producer to consumer to decomposer, and they will again come back into the producer. This is an inorganic nutrient pool of the earth. Now comes to the type of biogeochemical cycle. There are two types of biogeochemical cycle. First one is the gaseous cycle, means that cycle related with the gases only, and second one is the sedimentary cycle. Gaseous cycles refers to the transformation of gases between various biogeochemical reservoirs, like hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere, and like atmosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. You can see that. So in the picture, you can see that it is a reservoir of chemicals, substances into the atmosphere, biosphere, and hydrosphere. And the important major gaseous cycle that occurs in the hydrosphere, atmosphere, biosphere is the oxygen cycle, carbon cycle, and water cycle. And we are going to discuss all about all this cycle in the coming slides. Okay. So now the sedimentary cycle. Sedimentary cycle is a cycle in the leaching of mineral and salts from the earth crust. Is the leaching of minerals and salts from the earth crust which they settle as sediment or rock before the cycle repeats. Important some gaseous cycle of the some sedimentary cycle are like phosphorus cycle and sulfur cycle and calcium cycle. We will study about all the cycle in details in coming slide. So this is the types of gaseous cycle. First of all, biogeochemical cycle. Biogeochemical cycle is a recycling of nutrients inside the earth atmosphere. So it is again divided into two types. First one is gaseous cycle and sedimentary cycle. Gaseous cycle is nothing but the recycling of gaseous compounds inside the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. And sedimentary cycle is the use of those chemicals that is available in the sediments of the earth by the help of some microorganisms, some leaching properties, and all these things. And the important sedimentary cycles are phosphorus cycle and sulfur cycle and calcium cycle. And gaseous cycles are the main cycles are the oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, and hydrological cycle. These cycle will come from is connected from atmosphere to hydrosphere, hydrosphere to lithosphere. All these cycles are like that, and with the help of some, as we have already discussed, with the help of some biotic and abiotic component of ecosystem, these cycle will take place from atmosphere to hydrosphere, hydrosphere to lithosphere, from all the segment of the universe. Like this sedimentary cycle is again with the help of biotic component and abiotic component of ecosystem will takes place, and they will make available to those nutrient which is present in the sediments of the earth, like, so that as the name suggests, sedimentary cycle. So those elements which are present in the sediments of the earth, sediments means like the lower surface of the earth, like which is present on the bedrocks. Phosphorus, calcium, sulfurs are all present inside the sediments of the earth. So some, with the help of some bacteria, some algae, they will make by the process of leaching, they will make available these phosphorus and calcium into the atmosphere, and these chemicals will be used by the biotic components of the ecosystem. So this is the sedimentary cycle and this is the gaseous cycle. So we will discuss about all all cycles in coming lectures. Now comes to the hydrological cycle. First, we will discuss about the gaseous cycle. Gaseous cycles are those cycles that is present that is present in the form of gas. All those nutrients, all those chemical compounds that are present in the form of gas. So this is the gaseous cycle. Now let's start with the hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle is a system which describe and movement of water between the earth and its atmosphere. It is a hydrological cycle is nothing but the movement of water from the atmosphere to the earth is called as hydrological cycle. It is the water cycle that describe how water is exchanged through earth, land, ocean and atmosphere. It is the movement of water from different area to different area. That is the water cycle. And it also describes the continuous movement of all form of water like vapor, liquid and solid in the above earth surface, all the earth surface. So the picture represents all the process of the water cycle. Like this water cycle is mainly with the help of where the water is present in the earth. This picture shows and how it changes from one form to another form, and how it is moving inside the earth atmosphere, This is the water cycle. That is the main theme of the water cycle, the movement of water inside the atmosphere, and in about which form that is available in the atmosphere is called as water cycle. Now comes to the major process of water cycle: evapotranspiration, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, infiltration and surface runoff are all the main factors, five factors of the hydrological cycle. These are the main process of hydrological cycle: evaporation, transpiration, and we will discuss about all these things in next slide. Evaporation means the water will converted in the form of vapor, and they will again take by the clouds, and they will make the rain, and the rain will again come to the surface, and that will be absorbed in the groundwater through the surface runoff. This is the main picture of this picture. That is, condensation is the formation. Water is absorbed in the clouds. First of all, water from the lake in the form of evaporation, they will goes to the cloud, and the cloud in the form of precipitation, they will make rain. Sometimes snow is also there, and by rain the water is there, that is called as surface runoff. You can see through surface runoff it will goes to the fresh water, and some will absorb inside the groundwater. This is the main basic theme of the hydrological cycle. They are the main 5 steps of hydrological cycle, 5 process of hydrological cycle. So this is the picture of the hydrological cycle. First of all, water from various bodies. Water of various bodies, like water present in the ocean, water present in the river, water present in the freshwater stream, from the lake, all water that is present on the atmosphere, all water that is present in the atmosphere in the form of in the river, lake and streams, all water that is present on the earth is evaporated by the sun energy, by the solar energy, by the sun energy. That water is getting evaporated in the by the sun energy. With the sunlight, it will getting evaporated, and that evaporation, it will enter into the atmosphere. That evaporated water is enters into the atmosphere in the form of clouds. In the form of clouds, it enters the atmosphere in the form of cloud, and the again, and that cloud falls again in the form of rain. That cloud forms again on the earth's surface in the form of rain or snow. Rain or snow, and then again ultimately it returns to the ocean. That is the complete movement of water into the atmosphere. That is the main basic theme of the hydrological cycle. The water from various water bodies evaporated by the solar energy, then again it enters into the atmosphere as a cloud, and the cloud will make rain or snow, and then ultimately it returns to the ocean or river. Ultimately it returns to the river will get in the ocean. Then again this process will start, like evaporation starts and then evaporated by solar energy. Then again this process starts by the solar energy, and it enters into the atmosphere as a cloud will make rain will again collect the water on the earth's surface, and the river will ultimately go to the ocean, and the process continues. This is the hydrological basic theme of the hydrological cycle. And now, which process involved in these in all these steps, we have to study which process, by what is the evaporation, what is transpiration, what is precipitation, that will make available this water again to the atmosphere. So now this is the main factors of the hydrological cycle. The main factor of hydrological cycle is solar radiation and earth gravitational pull. That are the main driving force of water cycle. With the help of gravitational force and solar radiation, that will allow the movement of water from one form to another form. First, solar radiation. With the help of solar radiation, water is get converted into the vapor with the help of solar radiation, and with the help of gravitational force, the water come from clouds. Rain is coming from clouds to the earth's surface. And then after solar radiation and earth's gravitational pull is the main force for the water cycle. And then evaporation occurs. Evaporation occurs when the sun heat ups in water in river or lake or the ocean and turns it into the vapor stream. The water vapor or steam leaves the river, lake or ocean, goes into the air. And now the next step, that is a condensation. Condensation occurs when vapor or steam in the air gets cold and changed from a gas back into the liquid, forming clouds. So condensation is the process of formation of cloud. And now the precipitation. Precipitation occurs when so much water has condensed that the cloud is getting heavy, and water falls back on the earth's surface in the form of rain, hail or snow, whatever it is. So precipitation is nothing but the process of rain. This is the when the more and water vapor is absorbed in the cloud will hold, then the rain will come. This is the precipitation process. And now next, the collection. Collection is nothing but the collection of water or all the rain water into the river, stream, lake. This is the process when the water falls from the clouds as rainfall, heat and all this, and collects in the ocean, river, lake. Most will soak into the ground and will collect as underground water. That is the main story of the hydrological cycle. First of all, with the help of solar radiation and earth gravitational pulls, evaporation occur. Evaporation is nothing but the vaporization of water into the atmosphere. Then condensation occur. That is the water vapor or steam in the air gets cold and changed in the form of gas back into the liquid, forming clouds. Then cloud formation is there, and then rain is there. That is the precipitation, and the collection of these water again in the different form that is there. That is the thing of the hydrological cycle. So first we will discuss about the evaporation. Evaporation is the change of a state of a substance from a liquid to a gas. From a liquid to a gas. Water from liquid to gas. Water is getting converted from liquid to gas with the help of solar radiation. This is called as evaporation. Evaporation is the change of a state of a substance from liquid to gas. And in the meteorological means the study of these atmosphere. The substance we are connected about the most is water. What is the main thing of this evaporation? Water is continuously evaporating from the surface of the earth, literally pumping more and more water vapor into the atmosphere. Evaporation both sea and land surface, where the sun is the most important factor determining the rate of evaporation. So, as we have already discussed, with the help of sun, evaporation takes place, and the conversion of water from the liquid state to the gaseous state. It is the process of evaporation. That water from ocean, river, lake all get evaporated with the help of sun energy is the main thing of this hydrological cycle. So first water is getting converted from liquid state to gaseous state with the help of solar energy. Now comes to the next step, that is transpiration. Transpiration is what? It is the process where plant absorbs water through the root. Plant absorbs water through the root and then gives off water vapor through the pores called stomata. Stomata is nothing but a small opening of found on the leaf of the surface of the leaf or underside of the leaf. The transpired water passing through a plant is only 1% is used in the growth process of the plant. The remaining 99% is passed into the atmosphere. So in this picture, we can see that root absorb water from the soil. That is that water is like a groundwater or whatever it is. Groundwater or water present in the soil. First process is there, root absorb, and the root will make pass through this water into the stems. Stem drop the water up. So and leaf will take this water into its surface, and the unused water, leaf will take this water for their nourishment, for the process of photosynthesis, for their nourishment. Okay, and the remaining water which is present on the leaf is evaporated from the leaf surface to the atmosphere again. That is the process of transpiration with the help of sunlight. So with the help of sunlight, the unused water that is present on the leaf will get back to the atmosphere again. That is the process of transpiration. It is nothing but the process of evaporation. It is nothing but a process of evaporation by the plant. Evaporation of water by the plant is called as transpiration. Where plant absorb water, it is the whole step shows that the plant absorb water from the soil and soil surface, and then it will goes up to the plant, and the plant use this water for their nourishment and activities, for all activities. And by the help of sunlight, the unused water which is present in the unused water which is present in the is stored in the stomata, and stomata will make available this water to the atmosphere again in the form of vapor. The unused water evaporates from the leaf surface to the again into the atmosphere. This is the basic step of the transpiration. First is the absorption by the root. First process is the absorption by the root. Second is steam draw this water to above groundwater, and then third is unused water evaporates into the leaf surface. This is the main basic step of the transpiration. First one, water absorbed by the root. Second, it will goes up, and then it will be evaporated back in the atmosphere. Then in the form of rain, it will again come on the earth surface, and then again plant will take. So it is a complete cycle of the movement of water from one form to another form. So from liquid state of water, it is again getting converted into the gaseous state. So plant is taking water in the form of liquid, and then it evaporates with the help of sunlight in the form of gases, in the form of vapor, and the form of gases. So atmosphere is again taking this water back in the clouds or whatever it is. So now comes to the process of condensation. Condensation is the process whereby water vapor in the atmosphere is changed into the liquid state. In the atmosphere, condensation may appear as cloud or dew. Condensation is the process whereby water appears on the side of a cold drink or a bottle. You can see this condensation process if you'll bring some water from the fridge to outside. There is some water droplets is there on the surface of the bottle. This is the condensation. Condensation nothing in our day-to-day example, we can see that if we'll bring cold drinks bottle from fridge or a cold water outside from fridge, some water droplets will comes on the surface of the bottle. That is the condensation. Condensation refers to the water being cooled at high altitude where the temperature is low enough for the formation of cloud. It is the being cooled at high altitude and the temperature is low enough for the formation of cloud. So you can understand this condensation process from this picture. Like the vapors that is goes into the atmosphere back with the help of sunlight, some particulate matter is there. Then the condensation vapors turns into tiny water droplets or ice crystal. Some water you can see on the bottle. If you'll remove from the fridge, if you'll keep out from the fridge, some small water droplet is there on the bottle. The water droplet mixed with the particulate matter. That water vapor, that is droplet that comes on the surface of the bottle, will again mix with the some particle matters in the present in the atmosphere, and that is called as aerosol particles. Aerosol particle is the combination of water droplets with the small particles. It's called as aerosols. And then atmosphere is saturated with moisture, forming cloud. Then the moisture will be there, and then this moisture will again form the cloud, and then rain is there. So condensation process is again started with the vapor to the rain. Vapor, first of all, vapor is there, and then with the help of more temperature, with the being cooled at the temperature, and temperature is again getting low, it will create like a water droplet, and that water droplet is going to store in the cloud, and the cloud will bring this water in the form of rain again in the ocean, or again on the water surface, and then rain is there in the form of rain, and that water again comes to the atmosphere back. This is a condensation is again the process where the water vapor in the atmosphere change into the liquid state. So this is the process of changing of water vapor into the liquid state. Like the water vapor is converted into water droplet. This is the process of condensation. It may appear as a cloud or dew. You can see in our daily life example. Now the precipitation. Precipitation is nothing but the process of rain is called the precipitation. Precipitation is the result when the tiny condensation particles grow too large and water released from the cloud in the form of rain, freezing rain, sleet or snow or water. When the condensation when the clouds holding water is getting heavy, by the process of condensation, by holding the water vapor in the form of water droplet, it's getting heavy, then the rain occurs. That is the process. This is called as precipitation. It's nothing but the process of rain is called as precipitation. Process of rain. See, water droplet is absorbed in the cloud, and by absorbing more and more cloud, by absorbing more and more water droplet inside the cloud is getting heavy. Cloud is getting heavy by absorbing more and more water droplets. So if it is getting heavy, then rain will come. That water again comes into the atmosphere. That water released in the form of rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow or hail is, and the primary connection in the water cycle that provide for delivery of water to the earth. That again this will come into the earth surface in the form of earth runoff and all these things. This is the precipitation. Now infiltration and runoff. So the term infiltration is the process of water into the soil. It's nothing but the entry of water into the soil by the rate at which water infiltrate into the soil is the infiltration rate, which has the dimension of volume per unit area, per unit of time, per unit of area, which reduced to depth per unit area of time. And runoff occurs when there is excessive precipitation and the ground is saturated, cannot absorb any more water. It's like a flood condition. We can say it as a flood condition. River and lake are results of runoff. There is some evaporation from runoff into the atmosphere, but the most part of water in the river and lake returns to the ocean. Runoff is that portion of the precipitation that flows overland toward stream, channel, lake or ocean after the demand of interception, evapotranspiration, infiltration, surface storage and surface detention are satisfied. The infiltration is the process of entry of water into the soil. Water into the soil, that is the main thing of water. So if and runoff will occur in the condition when too much rain is there, when excessive precipitation and the ground is saturated and cannot absorb more water. So it is a we can say it is as a flood. And river and lakes are the example of runoff. So more water is there on the earth's surface, they will convert it into the lake, give into the river, and the river will change its area from from this direction to this direction. This is due to the excessive rain or excessive runoff. Runoff is that portion of precipitation that flow over land toward the stream channel, and the stream channel, lake or ocean after demand of interception, evaporation, infiltration, surface storage and surface detention are satisfied. And then again this water goes from the surface runoff to the ocean. They will go and meet to the ocean, they will go and meet to the river, and they will bring excessive water into on the earth surface, and that water is getting absorbed by the soil sometimes, and the soil will not be able to absorb, then it will returns to the ocean or river or anything, or that part of water, that will bring down the all the water back to the atmosphere, all the water back to the atmosphere, then again in the form of vapor, that water is getting converted to the clouds, and then condensation occurs, then precipitation occurs, then rain occurs. This is the main basic steps of the hydrological cycle. And the river and lakes is nothing but the result of runoff. If excessive rain is there, then river and lake are formed, and there is some evaporation from runoff into the atmosphere. But for the most part, water in the river and lake returns to the ocean. But evaporation will take place, but mostly part of water is goes back to the ocean or lakes, and then this process continues. And evaporation will take time, so that the water from runoff from all these things is goes back to the river and lakes. Now this is the what we have studied in the hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle is nothing but it involves the circulation of water between the earth and its atmosphere. Water is constantly moving from one place to another place in the form of evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, infiltration and runoff. Hence sun is the main component that make the hydrological cycle to function. So this in this picture you can show that water is moving from one form to another form into inside the atmosphere with the help of sun, with the help of solar radiation. Sun will provide the solar radiation, that then the water is getting converted into the vapor. Vapor is again absorbed, makes the cloud is getting heavy, and then that will make the rain, and by the rain infiltration and runoff is there. So this is the actual movement of water inside the atmosphere with the help of sun energy. First process take is the evaporation. See, you can see in the picture, evaporation from ocean, lakes and streams, it is getting by the process of condensation, cloud formation is there, and transpiration, with the help of transpiration also it is getting up, all water vapor is getting up in the condensation. Okay, then the precipitation is there. Cloud is getting heavier with by absorbing water droplets, more and water droplets. So precipitation is there. Precipitation is there like rain, snowfall, sleet, all these things in the form of all these things. Then this precipitation by more water on the earth's surface, then this surface is called as surface runoff. More and more water is there, and then some of the water is going to be underground, groundwater. Some of the water is going in the river, lake, and collected in the oceans also. And then again some is getting absorbed in the groundwater. So in the river and lake, it again in the form of evaporation from ocean, lake and stream, the same process will start. That is the main theme of water cycle. That is the movement of recycling of water inside the earth's surface is called as water cycle. And this is the gaseous cycle. As we have already discussed about this thing in the previous slide, like hydrological cycle, water cycle is a gaseous cycle. In the form of gas, it is moving from one surface to another, one form to another form. Now the human activities that will alter the hydrological cycle. Human activities is also affecting the water cycle, hydrological cycle. Human activities like withdrawing large or excess amount of fresh water from a river or stream is disturbing the water cycle. Like so that if water amount of water is getting reduced, the evaporation process will be slow, then rain process will be slow, then how it then it will return back again in the environment will take time. And the clearing vegetation and eroding soil. Clearing vegetation means deforestation. Deforestation, cutting of trees and surface and eroding soil. If deforestation is there, that will lead to soil erosion, because if more cutting is there, then soil will not hold it. So soil erosion is there, and that will not causing that will affect the hydrological cycle by their complete process. And then pollution of surface and groundwater. The water pollution, due to water pollution, this cycle, hydrological cycle is affected. And now and again, next is the climate change. Climate change is again because the climate change is causing the earth's surface getting very heat due to some greenhouse gases. So the greenhouse gases causing the earth's surface more heating, so it will disturbing the north pole and south pole, and the ice cap of north pole and south pole is getting melt day by day. So it is disturbing the hydrological cycle, whatever it is, previous hydrological cycle. So the ice cap of north pole and south pole is getting melt, and the more water is coming in the ocean, and the evaporation process is disturbed. So these are the hydrological cycle is affected by human activities. So and human activity, what human activities, first is deforestation, then pollution, and third is greenhouse gases. All these human activities is affecting the hydrological cycle by disturbing the hydrological cycle, whatever it was previous. Now come to the carbon cycle. Now we will discuss about the carbon cycle. Carbon cycle is again a gaseous cycle, like hydrological cycle, in the form of, it will travel inside the atmosphere in the form of gas. So we uh, categorize it under the gaseous cycle. The circulation of carbon on Earth, in which atmospheric carbon dioxide is converted to organic nutrient by the process of photosynthesis, and is again converted back to the inorganic state by respiration, decay, or combustion. It is nothing but just like a water cycle. It is the movement of carbon inside the Earth atmosphere. This is the main carbon cycle. So plant is using sunlight. Here again, sunlight is playing main role for the carbon cycle. Plant is using sunlight for the process of photosynthesis, and through plant respiration, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is again returned back to the atmosphere, and this plant is used by the animal. Is grazing by the animals, and grass is grazing by the animals, and by the process of respiration, carbon dioxide is again returned back to the atmosphere. And if the tree is died, or some decay is there, by the help of some bacteria, they are making decomposition of these things, and then they will again provide the matter back to the atmosphere, carbon dioxide back to the atmosphere. Some fossil fuel is there inside the bedrocks, inside the earth's surface. So by the burning of these fossil fuels and the combustion process, again this carbon is returning back to the atmosphere. Then again this carbon is using to the plant, but by the process of sunlight, they will provide it to the next trophic level, for second trophic level for herbivores, and they will provide for carnivores. Like this carbon travel inside the atmosphere. That's why Earth is called as a closed system. With the help of sunlight, they will make their own food, green plants, and then green plant pass this energy to the plant, and the plant again, through the process of respiration, it will again return back to the atmosphere. If animal will die by the process of decomposition, again this carbon is returned back to the atmosphere in the form of fossil fuel or fossils. And then decomposition process, whatever energy is important, whatever it is nutrient is important for the atmosphere, it will return back again to the atmosphere. So this carbon is again used by the organisms. This is the basic theme of the carbon organism. It is the first of all, carbon is converted to organic nutrients. Organic nutrients means the nutrients used by the plants by the process of photosynthesis. and then is again converted back to the inorganic state by the respiration, decay or combustion. As carbon is available in the atmosphere in the form of inorganic state, and they will make provide organic state by the green plant, and green plant make it available in the usable form, and this form of carbon will is again getting to the next trophic level, and then again they will provide back into the atmosphere. This is the main thing of the carbon cycle. Now the sink of carbon cycle means the storage of carbon, where this carbon is present on the earth's surface. So first of all, in terrestrial ecosystem, draw carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and use it in the photosynthesis. And all the plants are the sink for carbon dioxide, like because it is a necessary gas for the photosynthesis. So the major sink for carbon cycle is the plants. That plant will store this carbon in the form will store this carbon by using, and they will make it is for the photosynthesis. For the photosynthesis, plant is using this carbon, and it is a very necessary for the plant. And in the marine ecosystem, have the capacity to store significant amount of carbon in sediments, and also are able to sequester carbon in photosynthesis or chemosynthesis. So phytoplankton, seaweeds and other marine algae. Most storage of carbon is in marine sediments and rocks. Although some carbon is used by marine life in the formation of calcium carbonate. Most of the carbon in the marine sediments and rock. Mostly carbon is present in the marine sediments, like inside the earth's surface, inside the aquatic body. And these carbons is used by marine life. Mostly carbon is present in the ocean, like marine sediments and rock. And some carbon is used by marine life like some zooplankton, some organisms which is present inside the earth, inside the rock surface, inside the seaweed. So these organisms will make available these carbon in the form of calcium carbon. This is the main story of the sink of carbon. Carbon is present in terrestrial ecosystem. In terrestrial ecosystem, plant is acting as a sink for carbon dioxide. In marine ecosystem, some algae is the main sink of the carbon dioxide of this carbon, and the carbon is in marine sediments and rocks. All these are the major sink of carbon, and by the help of all these are ecosystem, and by the help of some biotic components, these carbon will make available to the atmosphere again. This is a sink of carbon cycle. So in this picture we can see that on the earth sediment some carbon is there. They will again convert it into the atmosphere, and by the atmosphere they will again come back to the earth surface, aquatic marine water bodies. Now this is the main theme of the oxygen cycle. Now comes to the oxygen cycle. Oxygen cycle is again a gaseous cycle. Oxygen cycle means the conversion of oxygen from one form to another form, and the movement of oxygen inside the earth's surface. Movement of oxygen from from the biotic component to abiotic component. First of all, oxygen cycle, what it is there. Plant release oxygen into the atmosphere as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Plant is releasing the oxygen into the atmosphere as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Plant is doing the function for the green plant is doing the function of photosynthesis. So as a byproduct of photosynthesis, oxygen will come into is released by the plant, and then plant release oxygen and animals take this oxygen through the process of respiration, and the animal take this oxygen through the process of respiration, and animal break down this oxygen into the sugars and food, and then carbon dioxide is released by the animal used in plants in photosynthesis and between the atmosphere and ocean. The cycle is nothing but it is the movement of oxygen. First of all, plant is doing photosynthesis, okay, with the help. So the oxygen is a byproduct of photosynthesis. So this oxygen plant will again provide to the animal. Animal is using this oxygen for their respiration, and they will provide an carbon dioxide to the plant. So that is the movement of oxygen to carbon dioxide, and it will from one form to another form. Through the plant respiration, they will absorb oxygen into the plant. Oxygen is absorbed by again comes to the industrial combustion, and then from industrial combustion carbon dioxide is released, and then it is used by the plant. This is the main theme of the oxygen cycle. Now comes to the sedimentary cycle. Sedimentary cycle, this is from till there we are discussing about the gaseous cycle only, like carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, hydrological cycle. All these cycles are the gaseous cycle, those things which are present in the form of gaseous. Now comes to the phosphorus cycle. Phosphorus is a sedimentary cycle, means phosphorus is available in the sediments. So the phosphorus cycle is the movement of phosphorus from the environment to the organism and then back to the environment. This is the main thing of the phosphorus cycle. Again, the cycling process is there. So the organism, the plant organism, the organism on the earth need phosphorus for their biological process, and the phosphorus is the major component of DNA, RNA, ATP. So ATP is that important for the transfer of energy, as well as phospholipid that form all cell membrane. So phosphorus is the very important part of for a biochemical process, for a biological process. An organism, and it is the component for DNA, RNA, and ATP. So this picture shows that the movement of phosphorus from organic state to inorganic state, from the organic, from plants to the earth, and inside the earth, whatever process is there, how they will make available this insoluble form of phosphorus to soluble form of phosphorus, so the plant can take this phosphorus. So first of all, phosphorus is present in the mineral surface in the form clay, metal oxide, and carbonate, or secondary minerals like calcium, iron, aluminum, phosphorus. Phosphorus is stick with the some secondary mineral like calcium, iron, aluminum, and phosphate. And the primary minerals of phosphorus is apatite, and then microbial biomass, and aquatic to transfer to aquatic system in drainage water. Some phosphorus is transferred to aquatic system also by the activity of some bacteria on some enzyme. They will make available this phosphorus to their use by the help of enzyme or hydrolysis process. Sometimes weathering is there. Weathering will again make available these in available form of phosphorus into the available form of phosphorus. Now comes to the transformation of phosphorus from one form to another form. So first of all, the process of transformation of phosphorus we will take. The first process is the mineralization. Mineralization is the organic phosphorus compound like phytene, inositol, and phosphate, and nucleic acid and phospholipid are mineralized to orthophosphates by the some microorganism like azotobacter, actinomycetes, and fungi. And phosphate are the enzyme that is responsible for the degradation of phosphorus compound. With the help of enzyme phosphatase, with the help of the enzyme named phosphatase, these bacteria and fungi will make available these organic phosphorus to the plants. And the bacteria, fungi are Aspergillus and Penicillium, Actinomyces, Streptomyces. These are the mycetes and fungi that will make available the phosphorus into the atmosphere. And the enzyme which is responsible for the degradation of phosphorus compound is the phosphatase. And the next process of this transformation of phosphorus is the assimilation. Assimilation is the microorganism assimilate phosphorus, which enters in the composition of several macronutrients in the soil. Some microorganisms have the ability to store phosphorus as a polyphosphate in special granules. Some microorganisms store phosphorus in the form of polyphosphate in their special granules. Some special granules is there inside a microorganism. So they are absorbing this polyphosphate into the phosphorus into their inside cells. So then they are using this phosphorus for their daily activities. And the precipitation of phosphorus from compound, like in this process will take inside the aquatic ecosystem. The solubility of orthophosphate is controlled by the pH of aquatic environment and by the presence of calcium, magnesium, iron, and aluminum. The orthophosphate is there in the aquatic ecosystem, and the solubility of orthophosphate is controlled by the pH of the aquatic environment and the presence of calcium, magnesium, iron, and aluminum. When precipitation occurs, there is a formation of insoluble compounds such as hypophosphite, vinite, and versacite. These are the precipitation. With the help of precipitation, there are insoluble form of phosphorus, so that a microorganism or every plant will take this oxygen and this phosphorus in the form of insoluble. They will make all these chemical activity will make precipitation of insoluble form of soluble form to insoluble form of phosphorus. Now it is transformation of phosphorus by the microbial solubilization of insoluble form of phosphorus. So by the metabolic activities, microorganisms helps in the solubilization of phosphorus compound. Some microorganisms have their metabolic activities, and the metabolic activities will help by these things. First is enzymes. Some enzymes like phosphatase. Phosphatase is there. Phosphatase is enzyme named phosphatase. Phosphatase will make solubilization of this phosphorus compound inside the animal body, and the production of organic and inorganic acid by the microorganism. And these organic acid are succinic acid, oxalic acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, and the production of carbon dioxide, production of hydrogen sulfide, which may react with iron phosphate and liberate orthophosphate, and the production of chelator, which can complex with calcium, iron, or aluminum. And then that is a process of transformation of phosphorus for the living organism, as the phosphorus is present in the sediments of the rock surface. So these mechanism of solubilization of metabolic process involves some enzymes, production of organic and inorganic acid by the organisms, production of carbon dioxide, production of hydrogen sulfide, and production of chelator. By these processes, they will make available this phosphorus into the atmosphere back. Now comes to the sulfur cycle. Sulfur cycle is again a sedimentary cycle. Sulfur cycle is released by the weathering of rocks. Sulfur comes in contact with air and is converted into sulfate. Sulfate are taken up by plants and microbes and are converted into organic form. The organic form of sulfur is then consumed by the plant through their foods, and thus sulfur moves in the food chain. When the animal dies, some of the sulfur released by decomposition, while some enters the tissue of microbes. And there are several natural sources of sulfur, like volcanic eruption, evaporation of water, breakdown of organic matter, swamp release sulfur directly into the atmosphere. This is the schematic representation of sulfur cycle. Sulfur cycle is again in the form of sulfate that is used in the fertilizer. Sulfate is there, soil is there, and then reduced sulfur, and with the help by the action of bacterial activity, sulfur is again getting into the sediments of the soil, and by the process of fossil fuel is used in the industry, and from industry the sulfur is again getting back into the atmosphere and then by the process of volcanization. This is the natural process for releasing of sulfur into the atmosphere, and the weathering of rocks, and by the acid rain and some snowfall is there, and this again sulfur is getting back into the environment, and to the surface runoff it is getting into the sediments in the form of sulfide, and sulfide is getting used by the fossil fuel, and in the industry through the industry, smoke is there. From the smoke, hydrosulfur is again used, again comes into the environment, and the green plant is taking sulfate in the soil, and that is eating by the animal is again uses organic sulfur, and through the process of decomposition it gets back into the ocean, into the sediments again. This is the complete cycle of this is the complete sulfur cycle. Sulfur cycle is again the sedimentary cycle. That's why it is again getting into the sediments of the surface, and by the action of some bacteria, some microbes, that will bring the sulfurs again into the atmosphere. So thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.